South Jersey bad boys. You really put some sexual tension into that.
Yeah, that got a little awry. But here we are for the first episode of the South Jersey Bad Boys.
South Jersey bad boys. What do you know about it?
As you can tell, we're the baddest boys in all of South Jersey.
You know how? Double reverse peace signs.
Yeah. We lean down in the photos. We point at cameras for photos. Yeah, you know how this goes.
Yeah.
White clawing it up.
Oh, yeah.
Forget the 40s of OE. We're going 24 ounce. This isn't even a 24 ounce. This is
12 ounce. 12 ounce curls.
12 ounce claws. Yeah, there we go. All right. Baby. So you're we're both representing Camden County at this point. I'm originally from Burlco, as the kids say in the streets, but yeah, you grew up in Camden County.
Come on, represent.
Oh, by the way, I'm Dan Callahan. This is
you guys already know.
You guys already know.
You probably don't.
We don't need to be like those 90s rap stars when they say who it is at the beginning of the song. They drop their record label, their name. They give you a very good intro. We don't need to do that.
No.
Everybody in South Jersey knows who we are.
That's right.
All those old women that I stole shopping carts from in the ShopRite parking lot earlier, they know who I am.
They're still chasing you.
They're still coming after me. I still have the Keep Christ and Christmas bumper sticker on my car, so they know where to find me.
Really?
No, I don't. But I see those all the time, and it's like the little manger bumper sticker. It says Keep the Christ in Christmas.
That's what's up. That's a South Jersey thing, too, is people really like statements on their bumpers.
Everybody's got to have a bumper sticker defacing probably the most expensive piece of property they'll ever own.
Yeah. They like to let you know, like, stupid. Like, remember the kids in high school that they had the fingering, like, sticker on their car? The shocker.
The shocker, that's what it was. And they had it on the back of their windshield.
Like, bro, are you kidding? Like, your parents weren't concerned about that? They're like, no, what does that mean? They're like, don't worry about it, Dad. Doing the pink one in the stink. And they're like, okay. Crazy kids.
Yeah, so then they would sell the car back to the dealership with all these bumper stickers on them, go get a new one, and then put another sticker on it.
You're sticking that on your car forever. What is that for? Ladies, I will finger you.
Yeah, I will. Don't be coy about it at all. This is don't have any misconceptions.
Like that's why. Imagine like if you were to put on your car now, just like I don't know, a picture of you eating like some butthole or something.
Yeah, so you have to. If only they were like tattoos, they stuck around with you forever. Because once you get a new car, they're gone.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, this is only going to be somewhat temporary, the next 10, maybe 15 years, and then I'll get a whole new one. By then, who knows what views of yours have changed?
You got to hope that financially you can get a new car, though, because in a sense, they are forever for that car. And if you can't afford to get out of that car, you're stuck with a shocker symbol on that Toyota Camry for the rest of the time driving it.
The even better side of this whole thing is the bumper stickers on the cars. And then if like usually it's a younger person that has a little more edgier bumper stickers when their parents have to drive their car for whatever reason, right?
So like, sorry, that's my son Dance. He likes to finger, high school kids.
Yeah, you know how it is. I, no lie, saw the car a few years ago that was being driven by a middle-aged bald man with a mustache. And there was a bumper sticker on the back that said, if you're going to ride my ass, you can at least pull my hair. And it was clearly his daughter Jamie Lynn's car. And
wow.
This guy's driving it and he's bald. And I'm like, so what's happening here? But it had the little the sticker on the license plate that identifies you as a 17-year-old driver.
Oh, I was going to say, I was like, maybe it was his before he went bald. And he was just into some kinky stuff.
He had some curls, some Jerry curls going on.
Yeah.
But, but that girl has 3 kids now. So who knows?
Wow.
But nonetheless, you see a lot of these interesting cars in parking lots. South Jersey, coincidentally, is also the capital of leaving your shopping carts in parking spaces of the entire country. It's a capital. It's well known for that.
I used to be a shopping cart kid.
Really?
Like when I was, I worked at a liquor store, and my job was to get just return shopping carts all day. Like I would just wait for assholes to go leave shopping carts. Like watch them take it to their car, just kick it down. And not put it back, and then I'd have to be like, don't worry about it, I'll get it.
Yeah.
And it would be freezing cold. I'd be out just getting shopping carts. It sucked.
Isn't that just a perfect analogy or just metaphor? I don't know the right words because we're both South Jersey educated. But, I mean, you have to have a full-blown shopping cart to go into a liquor store down here. It's not a whatever you can carry in your hands kind of situation.
Yeah, it's a stock up for the winter situation. Because people in Jersey like to drink.
It's a lot of just repressed feelings. And,
which I would say in America, most states are drinkers, I think, like for the most part. But then there's certain, like, I feel like California, it's like, it's more of a weed state, and people are like, yo, smoke.
Yeah, we just smoke. We're California sober. We don't touch alcohol, but
so chill.
Yeah,
California sober.
That's a thing. There's New York sober, California sober, all that stuff. What would you say is South Jersey sober?
Just not doing heroin.
Anything but that.
Like, oh, this guy's straight edge. You're like, he's not doing pills?
It's not doing pills. I mean, he's shooting Jaeger right into his veins, but no heroin.
Yeah. You can be called a pussy in South Jersey if you just drink and smoke weed. People are like,
what's this fucking guy's problem?
What, are you still in grade school?
Yeah.
Like, okay, I'm not trying to ruin my life.
So here's a real South Jersey question for you.
Sure.
Did you have a high school graduation party? And follow-up question to that, were you allowed to drink at that graduation party?
I did have a high school graduation party, and we originally were told I thought we were allowed to drink, and then we got told by my parents. They got pissed, and then they were like, nobody can drink anymore. Like, so we were just cracking beers, and then they were like, they got nervous, and they were like, no.
They weren't the parents that are like, as long as it's in my home, it's okay.
They got shook because that was like the first time like they were present while I had any sort of party, and we were like underage, and they cut it, they shut it down, and like to the point where it was a small party. It was like just some of my best friends. They were going to get beers, and they had to be like, no, they shut them down, which was embarrassing.
That is, at your own party. You're like, oh, no, sorry, mom says we got to take the rolling rocks away.
My friends were like, fuck up, what's up with your parents, dude? I'm like, I don't know, I guess they're gay. Well, that really speaks for the difference, because I didn't have a high school graduation party. I asked my dad if I could have one, and he said, no, you did what was expected of you. Yeah.
So, we didn't. It was kind of a pretty big deal where I went to school at if you graduated. So that's why I thought it kind of was deserving, but not really.
Which is funny that it's like, well, yeah, why are you having a party for somebody that just graduates from high school? It's like, is there anything easier than graduating from high school?
I mean, you could literally nearly flunk out of every single class, which, I mean...
You still graduate. Like, what do you have to have, all Fs to not graduate?
Yeah.
I think you could still graduate, right?
Yeah, you just might have to repeat some classes. We had kids that walked at our high school graduation that technically had to go to summer school afterwards.
Yeah.
Which, how defeating is that? I mean...
And, just... school in general is pretty easy. Like when you go to college, and obviously if you like become pre-med or you're taking something very seriously, obviously that's a different story. But at least in high school, or if you're in college and you just have like a general sociology communication degree, which is what I did, communications.
Same here, yeah.
It's like school is so freaking easy. Literally all you have to, 90% of it is just completing assignments. If you just complete, even if it's all bad, but if you just turn stuff in, you're gonna at least pass. You might not pass with flying colors or have a great GPA, but like you can still, like a high school in particular. Yeah, it's like if you just showed up for class, that's literally 90% of the battle.
Yeah. I never did any homework. I didn't actually study. I mean, some of my sports coaches were our teachers, and they just let you go. Yeah. As long as you're a student athlete, Yeah. Got that covered. I show up,
Where they bang some of the students.
Yeah, that happened in school too. I'm gonna have to save that for one of these episodes. Yeah. We are the South Jersey bad boys. I've done some bad things.
That could be a whole dedicated episode.
It is. I did tell you about that a few weeks ago. That it might take up 30 minutes on its own.
That's a lot to kind of unpack and dive into.
And anybody watching that knows probably what I'm alluding to, stick around for a future episode. We're gonna dive into that story.
Yeah.
What's the baddest thing that if you've done while in South Jersey? It's one of those things where it's like if you're in a different zip code, it doesn't count. But like if you're in South Jersey and do a bad thing, like it really, what happens to South Jersey stays.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'll go from high school.
Yeah.
Like growing up in South Jersey and being in high school, I think the worst thing looking back, like there's so many things that you look back on that you did in high school and you're like, I would never ever even think about doing something like that today. And the biggest thing that we would do all the time is to get alcohol. We would drive into Camden, New Jersey, and we would go to this place called Triangle Liquors. And like, I look young now. I'm almost 30 years old. Imagine when I was 16 or 17 years old. I looked like I was 10 or 11.
Yeah.
And we would drive to Camden, New Jersey, go to Triangle Liquors, and you walk in. I could have been in like my school uniform. They would serve anybody. They did not give a shit. You walk right up. It was super dangerous, like the sketchiest part of Camden.
Yeah.
You go right in. You can buy whatever you want. And you would have people coming up to your car, like homeless people coming up to your car and like, knocking on your window, trying to sell you a mixtape.
Yeah,
It was so wildly dangerous. And you would go and get like a 30 of Natty Light, and then we'd haul ass out of there. We would do that almost every weekend.
Holy shit. That's
Like,
wild.
I would never do that today. And I'm a grown adult.
Yeah, you wouldn't even go in there with an ID or a wallet to get a case of Yingling these days.
We would like borrow like one of our friends' parents' car. We would drive into Camden, New Jersey.
That's like getting something at a liquor store. You got the little orange tag on the license plate. They already know that you're not even 21 at that point.
We would get stopped by the cops who literally were just telling us like, look, you do not belong here and you got to get out of here.
That's what happened to me all the time.
Yeah.
I interned at the Camden River Sharks. That's where I got this Camden Pride shirt. Interned at the River Sharks, a now defunct independent minor league baseball team. So they had no affiliation with anybody.
Yeah.
But coming home from the games, when there's games at 11 o'clock at night, I would get pulled over driving through Camden and be like, what are you doing here? And I was like, oh, I was interning at the River Sharks. They're like, okay, you probably shouldn't be on this street at this time. And like they would see a white guy and they would be like, all right, let's see what the hell's going on here.
Right.
Nothing good is going to come of this.
Yeah. I assumed you were getting some drugs.
Yeah, exactly.
What about you?
Baddest thing. I mean,
there's a lot. Like you were.
I was a troublemaker.
Like a wild boy in high school.
I was a troublemaker. I was the class clown. That's my claim to fame.
Nobody talks about it.
Well, my high school, they had a thing as they would have the accolades in high school for the yearbook, right? They would have Lucy. You're trying to get in on the podcast here.
You got something to say, bitch?
Bitch, that's appropriate.
Sorry. I didn't mean to diss your dog.
Lucy, come on. I'll cut this out.
Yeah,
Lucy, get over here. Come on. Get over here.
Breath mint?
Come on. Over here. Come on.
Lucy. She's sassing you, bro.
Hey. Stop it. So yeah, they had the high school accolades in your senior yearbook, right?
Yeah.
Of who won this, who won that.
Superlatives.
Yeah, the superlatives. Yep. So we were the Blue Devils, so we had Class Devil. That was me. I don't mean to brag, but years prior, they had Worst Driver, and people would compete for the Best Driver award, or not Best Driver, Worst Driver.
How would they compete? They would just try to crash their cars.
They had to get a reputation for being known as the worst driver in their class.
Why did people want that?
They wanted to be in the yearbook with their photo of them in their car. And like years prior, like when I was a freshman, like people would be in there and their car would just like have broken headlights on it and dents and shit. And they'd be sitting in it like, yeah, check me out. I'm the worst driver.
Badass.
That was the thing. And they wanted to compete for it and they had to get rid of that senior superlative because of that.
People were dying.
People were backing up into people's cars. They were doing 40 miles an hour through the parking lot. I mean, it was getting ridiculous. Baddest, I mean, I will say, because it's right around April Fool's, I played a not so nice prank on somebody, April Fool's wise. Called them up, didn't even block my number. Told them they were in an ROTC program where they dressed in military things. I called this guy up and I pretended to be a ROTC person in the like actual military from Washington, D.C. I said I was like the president of the ROTC program for the country. You're winning a big award, so you need to wear your uniform on Monday to school.
This is a Jim Halpert like calling Dwight Schrute.
That's prank. Exactly what it is. Yeah. See, I didn't commit any crimes. I just prank called people and they got in trouble for it later.
Wow.
They always wore their ROTC uniforms on Tuesdays. So I told them to wear it on Monday. Little did I know this person was then going to go tell his whole family that he won an award and that there's an assembly going on. So people showed up at school that Monday morning.
From his family?
His family. They had balloons and like all types of shit.
Oh
like,
my God, that's so mean.
Not only did he wear the uniform to school and like people were like, why are you wearing your uniform? And he was telling people like, oh, I'm winning an award. Like I got this award. Like that in itself was all it was supposed to be.
Yeah.
People took off of work. York. People drove in from far away. People showed up to the high school saying, yeah, we're here for the assembly for the award that was being given.
Imagine a family member who took off work and you're like, what are you this was not even real?
No, it wasn't real at all. So then I think what happened, I got called to the vice principal's office for this, and they were like, were you making prank phone calls over the weekend? We were playing poker on like a Saturday night, and I called them, and I was saying, no. They're like, well, whoever called didn't block their number, and we're pretty sure this is your phone number. I was like, no, it's not. So the vice principal,
pretty sure or definitely sure?
I had ringtones on my phone, right? I had a little slide razor boy. I didn't, this was before iPhones and everything.
Big time.
So he's like, all right, I'll just call the number right now and then see. I was like, oh shit. So I start sweating. He calls the number and my ringtone on my phone starts going off, and it was Grills by Nelly. So all you hear is, smile for me, daddy. What you looking at? Let me see your grill. And that just starts playing. I was like, yep, that was me. That's my phone.
This is a coincidence. It's my mom is calling me.
Yeah. That's so I got suspended for making a prank phone call. I did in-school suspension for 3 days after that. The ROTC person was pissed. I was not in the ROTC.
Surprised they didn't shoot you.
I thought they were going to take their, fake rifles and just point them at me and fire blanks at me. But the ROTC guy was actually mad at the kid that I called because he was just like, this fucking phone number was an 856 number, a South Jersey number, and you answered and you thought it was somebody calling you from Washington, D.C. You didn't say anything to me. He's like, what the fuck? Like, he was just like, what is wrong with you?
This kid, not only did he get absolutely embarrassed by being fooled and then his whole family showing up, but then he also got shit on by the head of the ROTC.
The head of the ROTC was
dumbass for falling for this.
He was pissed that he fell for it. But and it's like, I had nothing against the guy. It wasn't like it was just a targeted thing. I was just like, oh, let's call someone in an ROTC and get them to wear their uniform. And it's like, oh, we have that person's number. Let's call them.
It's a South Jersey bad boy, man.
Yeah, it's a South Jersey bad boy right there. That's what you got to just prank calling people. Don't even block the number because I don't care.
Should that be our thing on the podcast? We just keep going like this?
Just keep going we just, point at the cameras.
I'm bringing back the double reverse peace sign.
Yeah,
the tongue out.
Where did you go for senior prom? After senior prom?
Oh, man.
Because we didn't have a senior week or anything. It was always right after senior prom.
We did Wildwood.
We went to Seaside. So
really?
It was right then. It was when Jersey Shore was taken off. So we went to Seaside. We stayed a block from the where one of the popular clubs was.
Yeah.
But it was literally a shack, like a 1-bedroom place with a large living room and a kitchen. And we had, I think, 23 people stay in this house.
We had something ridiculous too. It was probably 30 kids. I remember somebody punched a hole in the wall.
Oh shit! No deposit coming back on that one.
Just people throwing up in bedrooms and stuff. Just anybody who is in the business of renting weekends to high school kids after prom. What are you doing with your life, you fucking losers?
That is such a terrible business to be in.
Because you know exactly what you're doing.
Yeah, you know exactly what's going to happen and what's going to come of it, and most of it, the risk reward isn't there.
Yeah, I understand they're robbing people of money, and they know that they could put these kids in any sort of shithole and they'll collect some money. But the damage that you're going to get on that house, it can't balance out. You can't be making much profit considering the damage that's going into the house. It really has got to cancel out, if not put you in the hole.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Exactly. It would have to be. And especially down in Wildwood, there's tons of those. Seaside, they just didn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Parts of Wildwood, I'm sure they didn't care either. But
when we would graduate high school, a lot of people from our school would do this. And I learned from talking with people that this was not a thing everywhere else. But when we graduated high school, the kids above us would do this. My brother did this. You would move down to Wildwood for the summer and get jobs down there and just live there. Not just for a prom weekend. We would live there. And I worked at Dairy Queen, and then we all got a house and we lived there for the summer, which was great and super fun. But it's also wildly dangerous. It's the same sort of situation. We had 7 guys living in a hallway in an absolute shithole, and you just get in fights and you get arrested all summer. That's what you do.
By rent-a-cops on the Wildwood Boardwalk?
Yeah, by rent-a-cops, and they just rack up. I remember getting caught with alcohol, so you get possession of alcohol, and I still remember the ticket was $700, and you had to go to court
just for getting caught
with alcohol,
with a couple of bones,
walking down the street with a 30-pack in a backpack.
Oh shit!
And they would stop you and be like, we saw that the zipper was open a little bit because they could. I don't think that they could technically be like, hey, show us what you have in your bag.
Yeah, that's like a stop and frisk kind of thing.
Exactly. So I think they made up that they'd be like, oh, your backpack was open a little bit and we saw it, but we don't know any better. So we're like, okay. And then you get a ticket and you're a high school kid who's working at Dairy Queen and you got to pay $700. Like that's what you made the entire summer.
Yeah, exactly.
And you get multiple of those tickets.
They add up.
Yeah.
And then you got to go home back around Labor Day and be like, all right, so I have $3,700 worth of alcohol fines and I'm 17 years old.
Yeah. And you'd be like, I am a little bit in the hole starting out going into college.
Just add this to my tuition. Can I get
not to mention tuition's $50,000 a year that I'm heading into. For a communication degree.
And $3,700 in fines for alcohol might have been able to cover $3,700. That's like 2 textbooks. So I mean,
oh my God, yeah.
Yeah, but
they're so expensive.
You know that if some kid got pulled over today by a cop walking around with alcohol, they would know all of the laws front and back. They pull their phones out and they're like, no, I'm going to record this cop. It would go right on Twitter in 2 seconds.
Well, there's that. And like, I don't think kids in high school understand how good they have it now, where I guess maybe it's the same generally with alcohol, like where I'm sure you could still get in some trouble. But now it's like you can just smoke weed in a pen, probably in school, get away with it. You have a vape pen. Like, the amount that if you were smoking weed in high school and you had like the steps that you had to go through to hide it, to get it, the smell of that dank dirt weed that you would smoke, the trouble that you would get in, like now it's so much more laid back for kids that are just trying to smoke a J.
Yeah, smoke a bowl, you know? Just, oh, it's ridiculous. Oh, what's going on? What else is going on? How about the whole Will Smith, Chris Rock sitch? I don't know when this is eventually going to, go out, but that just happened last week. So, I mean,
Will Smith is officially off the deep end. And this is coming from, I was always a huge fan of Will Smith. Absolute huge fan. And I think he just hit his boiling point where he has been, I've heard a lot of takes on this because this is what at this point, like a week later,
7 days after,
and which feels crazy. Like it feels like it happened forever ago, and it's only been a week. But Will Smith for so long has been the man. Yeah, like back in the '90s, Fresh Prince to hit movie, like just him being in a movie, it's going to be a huge hit. And now, like his movies kind of flop. No one really gives a shit as much about the movie stars anymore. And then on top of that, he's just been completely getting labeled as a cuck by Jada. Yeah. And I think he's not used to getting hated on like this. Like everything he did was gold back in the day. Now there's the meme of him going around, crying. Jada's completely embarrassing him on the red carpet talk or whatever show they have. And I think that he's so upset that he is now being branded as a cuck that he can't take it. And he was waiting for somebody to say, like, I think he was going into the Oscars going, if somebody even tries some shit with me, I am going to smack the shit out of them. Because I think he's just so pissed that, like, this is his new brand. Is that, like, dude, you're not the man anymore.
I did see today that, like, obviously people kept on talking about, like, such a light joke for somebody to get, like, all fired up about.
Terrible joke.
It's not even a good joke or something.
Like
it's a throwaway line.
It's a lighthearted throwaway line.
That's all it was. It's nothing compared to what Ricky Gervais has said over the years.
Which have been the absolute best monologues.
Yeah, and, like, the last one he did
it's
for the
only
Golden
reason
Globes.
People watch.
Yeah, that's the only reason. And, like, that's what I heard someone, I forget who it was, that was saying it, that they comedians are what these award shows relying on.
You hope to maybe tune into the Oscars to see which celebrities get shit on and made fun of, and then maybe you want to see who wins best picture or like best actor or actress or whatever.
Like all that stuff you can just read in plain text somewhere, but you can't with what comedians saying about somebody. Like Ricky Gervais at the last Golden Globes that he was hosting was shitting all over Apple, Robert De Niro, Martin Scorsese, everybody. But like he was saying directly to Tim Cook's face that he has slave labor of like kids. The Pope movie he was making fun of. So I saw Ricky Gervais said today or maybe yesterday that he doesn't know why Chris Rock made fun of Jada's hairdo when he if it was him, he would have made fun of her boyfriend. or said something about her having a boyfriend.
Did he say that?
He said that's what he would have said.
Legend, dude.
He was just like, yeah, that joke was stupid. I don't know why he was talking about that when he could have talked about her boyfriend. You know, like it's just, you know,
there was like so much worse stuff that he could have said, and the fact that that's what makes me believe he was just waiting for. He knew somebody was going to say some shit, and I mean, he laughed too. That's the other.
It was a very diplomatic, like it was a very.
He left, and then I think he looked at Jada, and she was
over.
like, "You better do something."
Yeah,
and he's so shook from her.
Yeah,
and he went up and he made an absolute ass out of himself.
And his initial point of keep my wife's name out of your mouth.
Keep other men out of your wife's mouth. That's Brendan Donegan.
Yeah, sign that as Brendan Donegan.
But seriously, it's like, God, she has just full blown embarrassed him.
Yeah.
And,
well, now his whole point of the keep my wife's name out of your mouth. I mean, look at all the mouths his wife's name is in now. I didn't even know her full name. I don't even really know who she was. I don't follow all the celebrity gossip, and now that's all I see is people shit talking Jada Pinkett Smith.
That's why this so backfired on him, dude. He thought, I don't know what he was thinking. That he thought, I'm gonna look like the man. I'm defending my wife. People are gonna stop calling me a bitch. And now, like, it could not have backfired anymore. Where people are like, "What? You are off the deep end. You're like, what are you thinking?"
If he would have done that, why didn't he just go up and just punch him? He had to bitch slap him like a.
That was also this weird choreographed. It looked like a movie stunt. Like, I mean, it was like a very well choreographed. I mean, I never watched the Oscars. Sam and I happened to just flip it on. Like, I don't even know why. I think we were in between a show, and right at that moment when that happened, I genuinely thought that it was a bit, because I was like, what? And Sam was like, no, that was real.
Yeah.
And I thought it was fake because it looked like, I mean, Chris Rock's laughing, he leans into it, and then he smacks him. And it wasn't until I saw Will Smith's reaction and then Chris Rock being like, yo, it was a joke, that I was like, oh, wait, this might have been real.
Yeah.
And then you see everything, later on, obviously you're like, oh, wow, it really was real. But
what a time.
Also, if it was anybody else, like, it's such a bitch move on Will Smith too, because he would not have smacked anybody bigger than him. Like, he's way bigger than Chris Rock. He smacks him and turns around and walks away. Chris Rock clearly did not think he was going to do that. He's like laughing. He's like, uh-oh. I think he thought he was coming up to do a bit.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, here he comes. He's gonna grab the mic and say something or whatever. And he smacks him and he's like, are you kidding me?
Did this just fucking happen? And then he kept his composure well and moved on. You could tell that he was kind of processing, like, should I just start going at him? Like, he very well could have been.
I wish he did. I mean, here's the thing. Like, I can't even... You can't shit on Chris Rock for not saying anything back, because when something like that happens, you're so in shock and you can't even process what happened for you to think about, like, what to say. And, like, as much as I'd want to say, like, if that were me, I would have said this, that, and the other. You can't think that quickly because you have no idea what even just happened to you. But God, if he had some time to process that, like, he could have came back with so many lines. So I wish he would have just shit all over him and been like, you're pissed at that? I could have said so much worse. Let me begin. And just went off on him.
Now, what would we be all thinking or saying if it was somebody else up there that said it instead of Chris Rock and he came up and smacked him? It's like, what if it was
Ricky Gervais?
Yeah,
then it'd be like it would be a race issue. Like,
what if a woman said it? They had 3 female hosts or comics. What if they said it?
Yeah, seriously. I mean, the 3 female hosts, and then so it's funny. Like, he gets pissed about that. Smacks a man, assaults him. They let him sit back down, and they do not decide to escort him out and arrest. Like, and then he accepts the award, and like people are applauding him. So weird. But then, like, again, I didn't watch much of it, so I only saw, like, I mean, after that happened, I stuck around to see like what he was going to say. But I saw, like, even Amy Schumer was doing a bit with I forget the guy who he's in, like, Breaking Bad. And, like, he's
the guy. Yeah, he was
famous actor.
He was one guy that shot the kid near the train in Breaking Bad. I saw and it was his wife that she took her seat.
Yeah, it was Kirsten Dunst.
Kirsten Dunst. Yeah,
and she's like, oh my God, your wife is this seat filler and blah, blah. I'm like completely shitting on Kirsten Dunst. And I'm like, imagine if she smacked Amy Schumer in the face.
She just got up and just went right up and did it.
If she was making fun of Jada, it's like,
Yeah, who knows where it could have went.
But like her bit was, just as edgy. I mean, not Chris Rock's wasn't even edgy, but it's
Yeah.
like you could be just as pissed for something as simple of a joke like that, where she's making fun and
Yeah.
having fun.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like people were comparing it to like comedy shows and roasts and stuff like that, but it's like those are a little bit of a different environment than the Oscars. However, Will Smith and his wife are sitting in leather like recliners, basically, like in the front row. There's nothing between them and the stage.
Yeah.
And because they still want to make it look like, have the look that everything is spread out, right?
Yeah.
So that they're all sitting in their own individual chairs.
Yeah, I
They're
saw
not
some people wearing masks. I'm like,
yeah,
oh my
it's
God.
all that's all
This is
theater.
such a
That's
stroke
all.
fest.
So, yeah, it's like it's a little different of an environment, but you still have to realize that you're one of the superstar people that's up for Best Picture or Best Actor. So they're gonna rib you a little bit. That's what happens there. And
Exactly.
and it was something that, like, whether or not he knew she had alopecia or whatever, that's up.
It's still.
I didn't know she did. I don't even know who she really is.
I didn't
other
either
than-
because she's always had a shaved head as long as I've
Yeah.
seen her in Hollywood.
Yeah, but she's good looking too. So it's like that wasn't even really that big of an insult. But he
And so was G.I. Jane the character. Like Demi Moore is super hot in that movie. It's like not
yeah,
even,
yeah. It's just obviously I've heard way worse elsewhere. Ricky Gervais has said way worse. It was a whole situation. But hopefully after this week it just blows over. But obviously all the repercussions are going to be coming out and against Will Smith, and that's just going to keep it in the news.
Yeah.
So
And people are poking fun at like what where does this end? Like now it sets the precedent that people can get up at comedy shows. And I obviously don't think that that's really going to be such an epidemic. But I told you, I did have a show last night where I was making fun of an old guy joking around. And I was like, what if he just Will Smith slapped the shit out of me? And he got up out of his seat and started walking toward the stage. Like, obviously, I knew he was joking and it turned out to be great. It was a lot of fun. But I could see some scenarios where people are drunk and they think that would be funny, and either they get close or they grab the mic and it gets heated. Like it's not good.
Yeah, and that's the difference between, even though that wasn't a comedy show, it's people's reactions to a off-color joke.
Yeah.
So now people are that agree with what Will Smith did are now going to have in their mind like, oh, he did it that way, and this is how you can react to it. So I didn't like that abortion joke, so I'm going to go up and let them have it.
Exactly.
And that happened a few weeks ago. Louis Katz was headlining. He made an abortion joke. Lady was laughing the entire show. An hour and 15 minutes into the show, he made an abortion joke, and she started visibly booing him in the front row like this, going like this, said, that's not funny, talking about dead kids, or she said dead kids. She was liquored up like crazy. So I'm like, kids? I was like,
That's the case.
It's like everything else he was joking about was fine until that moment. And then she got up to leave the room, and she got up, walked on the stage and then off the stage just to make a point that, like, I just walked up on the stage and I cut you off. And it's just like,
what a loser.
but it's like, I mean, I hate to say it, but white women are not the best for comedy. And she was a few white Zinfandels deep. And
Wow. You know what else is funny is that you, like, as a comic, you can have them with you the whole show. He's killing. She likes every single joke. One joke. Like, if you were batting at that percentage, and you only miss once, like with somebody, that's incredible.
Yeah.
And like you decide to make such a stink because you liked his whole show, but one joke, no, screw this person.
Yeah.
The one joke, it's a joke. I mean, like, this is like becoming nauseating. Like the fact that it happens so frequently, and like that's all that seems to be talked about because it just happens so much.
Yeah, it does. It's going off the rails, and now just because of how quickly everything can spread like wildfire, it's not helping anymore. So no it's not.
Yeah.
We're about 34 in. Is there anything else you wanted to? I
think-
could cut this part out and we can go
Yeah,
back into
no,
the
I think
voice.
this is good. We're just setting the stage for us kind of getting our weekly, dialogue and podcast going. South Jersey Bad Boys. We're figuring it out.
Figuring it out. We'll
Keeping
do
it
some
loose.
clips up. We'll do some stuff. We'll talk about some things. I would love to get a way for strangers to call into our thing here from South Jersey to just tell us. We'll go visit some towns.
Yeah, maybe we'll do, like, you guys comment, let us know. We'll do some more South Jersey related episodes. Obviously we'll talk about what's going on with Dan and I, what's going on in the news, and really just a way for us to kind of keep a consistent dialogue going, to build on
Yeah, everything. I mean, South Jersey is primarily, you got shore towns, you got the Pines, you got the Philly suburbs, and then you got like the Kentucky of New Jersey. So
Yeah.
all of that combined, there's a lot of interesting places we can talk about. We can go visit. We can do on the street interviews. I mean, there's a lot of different things we could do, but total line between some South Jersey, some general stuff like
Yeah.
what we've done here. So
Exactly.
I think there's a wide stage of things that we can cover here. And yeah, I mean, we're just an episode in, so keeping it brief, keeping it short. We'll see where we go from here. But, keep it bad out there, all you baddies. And, let us know what crimes you're going to commit this week. Catalytic converter. You want to steal, go to a chop shop. I mean,
Yeah.
what do you, I mean,
Comment, like, subscribe. Let us know what crimes.
what crimes you're going to commit. What's your favorite pair of pajama pants to wear in public?
Yeah.
We're just degenerate baddies over here. So
That's Atlantic City specific.
that is, I've seen it. It's like South Jersey is a very, would you say it's like a New Jersey Delco, but a little different? Like
It depends. It's and that's we can go episode to episode on that because you sent that map of South Jersey where it breaks down each county
Yeah.
by what it's kind of categorized as.
yeah,
And it fucking nails it.
it does. And we'll go over that map on the next episode as
Yeah.
we get into this LBR South Jersey
Yeah,
segment
that's a
of
good
the
idea.
week. We'll do that, so stay tuned for that next week. And yeah, Bad Boys of South Jersey. We're out of here.
Thank you guys.
Yeah. We'll see you.